of security and huge barricades, if you will. No one is getting in or out, at least by sea. He looks around and he says, "As for the other cities, I haven't heard from any of them. Not since." He looks up at the spore, and you guys noticed this. You guys had been underground and kind of not really noticed as much before, but one of the spore overhead seems to have a large, kind of glowing crack in it, with like a fine powder falling from it. And he says, "Not since the spores started to deteriorate or crack. God only knows what'll happen when." And he kind of shakes his head and he says, "That's all I know. I'm sorry."
Wow.
Cooper had been. He wasn't underground nearly as long as anyone else. Would he have? Would he know anything else about this? The cracking of the spore.
You would have known about it, but it's something that no one's really been given clarification of. You know, you would have known it was happening, and you would have been there when people started panicking, but you wouldn't have any further information. Neither would most people, from your snooping around.
Would have been in the scriptures I've been reading from the scientific writing and blueprints in the ruins of Temple of Lyra.
The ones from the roll for a give us a what do you call it? Give us a history check.
History.
Oh, how you have returned. That doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Oh no.
Hey Neff, welcome back.
Thanks.
We're just hopefully everything's all right. We're literally just started. We're talking to the NPC who's driving the carriage. Yeah, what you get, Teach?
20.
20. Wait, a natural 20. You don't recall particularly seeing anything about cracking. But what you do know is that the spores themselves, they were meant to be capable of self-repairing, so long as the people who the four heroes or the five heroes. So long as the five heroes lived, then the orbs are supposed to keep just repairing themselves. The five heroes who originally created them.
It's really quite odd that there's a crack in those orbs. I do remember, or if I recall, that those orbs can mend themselves. So maybe it's trying to regenerate somehow.
Mm. As you guys now just chug, as the carriage sort of brings you guys along, it's not the bumpiest road, but it is a road not often traveled. You guys stop a couple of times, just give the horse just a bit of a break, but before long, the driver sort of opens the little curtain that's separating from the inside of the carriage and says, "Just over that hill, the city of Thu shall come into view.
Thank you, Salsa.
However, I should probably inform you of its more colloquial name. Theo is what it's known as by the the broader Sage's population. However,
About to turn Fray.
The residents refer to it as the Pt.10. And you'll see why in just one moment, he says as he sort of continues towards the hill. And as soon as you guys get over the hill, at first you're met with like the shining, almost blinding, what do you call it, light from what looked like about 4 spore, sort of hovering around what looks like several almost iron patchwork discs, maybe several kilometers wide, that almost seem to be stacked on top of each other. They're all the same height. And they're floating with a substantial gap in between, with several waterfalls pouring off the side of each. However, it doesn't go perfectly up. Each of the discs, which make up the separate floor of this structure, seems to be offset ever so slightly, giving the entire tower the illusion of it leaning slightly on its side. And he looks, he says, Pt.10, also referred to as the Leaning Tower, he says. He smiles and he says, it's a butte, impervious to most attacks and natural disasters, but all too vulnerable to an attack from within, he says, as he sort of brings the horses. Chino calms them down a little bit as they're a bit taken back by the sunlight. And the 4 spores seem to almost be rotating around this tower, and underneath it, a huge circular, obviously man-made pool of water is almost like dug out, almost like if you guys saw the anime Your Name, when the meteor hits the bay, and you just see that it's just a big cutout, circular cutout. And within that huge man-made, it's almost a man-made sea, there seems to be several little islands drifting around them. And he says, welcome to Thu, he says.
Thanks.
He says, is there anywhere in particular you'd like me to drop you? Or just bring you to the entrance, I guess, if that's what you guys would want. I do have a delivery to drop off. I can always take you there if you want.
Say something about a guy who might be able to help us.
Yes, Granny Nepoli. She's actually in the town of Senza. If you guys want, that's actually en route to where I need to go. I can drop you guys off there.
Sounds like a plan. At least to me.
He nods and he looks at everyone else and says, "Is that all right with all of you?"
Yeah, sounds good.
Hi.
Take care.
He brings you guys down.
Do
You guys
I
top
have
of the hill.
Do I have any berries or anything?
I think you gathered some before when you and Leo were looking for a bear, weren't you?
Yeah. Can I give some to the horses?
Yeah. A roll for animal handling.
True. 11.
11. Yep, that's perfect. So you feed the horses and berries, and they look quite thankful to you. And at this point, the merchant has brought you guys down the hill to the edge of this little sea, where there seemed to be a large raft set up, big enough to hold everyone. Not much safety. It's basically just this big floating platform. The man
ferry.
goes and pays. Yeah, basically. And the man basically goes and pays the ferryman. He nods at all of you and sort of brings the cart up. He also brings the horses up, which was kind of surprising. And however, they seem to be quite calm, and giving them the berries has definitely also helped them. So allow me to just very quickly see how much the dice want to screw you guys over. So,
Oh, lovely.
where the dice? There we go. Oh, okay, not much. Yeah, no. The ferryman starts, he starts sort of anchoring away, and the ferry seems to be going quite slowly. And he looks and he says, "Sorry about this. We're kind of running very low on our energy. So it's going to be a bit of a slow journey," he says. And as he says this, you guys suddenly feel the boat just suddenly pick up speed. This little raft seems to be just moving on its own accord. And suddenly, you guys see something tug on the man's sleeve. And you see little Alice sort of in her hand. It's like this white swirling orb with rings around it. And then she goes, "Will this help?" The man says, he looks at you guys in confusion and looks back at her, and he's just like, yeah. And she kind of just sits down, and she kind of just plays with it and pokes it a little bit. And he goes, the ferryman looks at you guys like, what's she doing? He says, as he sort of struggles to regain control of the boat that's going a lot faster than it was before.
I don't think we know. I think we know about as much as you do.
Teach, thanks for the sub.
He says she's
I know
not
nothing.
she's not gonna like blow up or anything, is she?
No,
Probably not.
she's
Fray,
harmless.
Cast hydrate.
Oh, and she looks and she
Thank you
and
for the
Alice kind of
hydrate.
looks up at him and just smiles. And he says, "Oh, okay. I'll get you to your destination as quick as we can." He says, sort of awkwardly trying to ignore his fear of spontaneously combusting from standing too close to this person. And after maybe an hour and a half's little boat ride across this lake, you see some land ahead. It seems to be an island that seems to almost be floating above the waves. A humble little island with only a couple of huts. And as you guys sort of dock against it, the merchant looks at you guys and says, "All right, this is your stop. This is the town of Senza. Look for Granny Nepoli. She's probably, not only is she someone who could help you out, or point you in the right direction, but she's probably the closest person that you're going to get to someone you could call trustworthy around these parts."
What's her name again?
Nepoli.
Granny Napoli, did you say?
Yeah, we call her Granny Nepoli, Baba Nepoli. You know, she's just an old lady. So,
Would Stupor know of her? Didn't he grow up in Thew?
Oh, he did grow up in Theo. Oh, shite. Yes, you would know her. Actually, yes, you would know her. She's a retired admiral. She used to be the admiral of the fleet of. Well, there goes that. But yeah, so yeah, she was the admiral, retired, long retired of the fleet of the entire Navy fleet. Um, but yeah, but basically, it's been a long time since you've been back. Quite a bit. So things. Obviously, she was already retired by the time you left, but just yeah, just a fair warning. But yeah. Oh crap. Anyway, um, but yeah. So
I
you
mean,
would know.
Scooper being from Thew was your idea, man.
Yeah. God, freaking damn it. Oh well. No, this actually kind of makes sense as well. I can make this work. So he looks around, and says, "Do any of you guys know her?"
Scooper just raises his hand.
Uh, he he kind of awkwardly points to you and says, "Yes." You can.
Well,
I'm
you
happy.
asked if anyone knew her, and I was indicating to myself.
Oh,
Like you asked,
okay.
oh, who knows her? I raised my paw to draw attention to myself, so you would then know. Oh no, he knows her. He'll know
Uh,
what he's on about. It's
okay.
not like he grew up here, like.
Oh, oh, so you do know her, he says.
Yeah, yeah. You never asked before.
Well, I really didn't expect anyone to actually know her, so it's kind of caught off guard. No one really knows her outside these walls, so I assume you are local.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to kneecap your dramatic story.
He nods, and then he says, "Well, in that case, you probably know, not to indicate her age in any way, if you would
Oh
like to
yes, no,
keep said kneecaps."
no. My grandfather was he actually once saw her while she was in the military. Now she was, she'd gotten a few wrinkles at that point, and someone made some. Oh God, the poor fella. He actually said to her, "Hey, Admiral, I think you should try and get some cream for those crow's eyes you got there.
What that do?
Might make you look, might make you. We don't know.
Oh, did you ever hear from him again?
Uh, well, see, on one of the ships, uh, the Mary's Shanty, uh, it is said that you can still hear some. If you listen closely, put your ears up against the wall. You can hear screams reverberating through the metal as some say that's him, that he's still down there being pelted with hot coals.
Suddenly, from behind, you hear a voice saying, "He's not there anymore. We threw him off board after about 2 years." And followed by a sharp thunt, the sound of like a wood cane hitting a dock. Um, and then she looks at the merchant and says, um, "What's it called, Bolo Junior? Come, I have a request to make." And the merchant looks and says, "But I'm on my way to." She says, "Come." And you guys turn around. You see this old. She's quite decrepit. She's very old, but she seems to sort of almost walk. It's kind of it's strange. She's kind of she'll occasionally switch from hunched over and very kind of slow and kind of old lady like. She seems to have like long white hair, but occasionally, when she sort of hits a bump in the road, she kind of just straightens out her back and just like steps over it and then reverts back to hunching over. Um, it's just like overall it's all a bit strange. And the merchant sort of looks at the ferryman, and the ferryman kind of shrugs, and the merchant dude just kind of jumps off the boat and kind of has no choice but to follow her. He looks back at you guys and said, "You guys are welcome to look around, and such, or you can follow." I he kind of looks around, kind of panicking, trying to make sure she doesn't get too far ahead of him. And he says, "Sorry," as he's basically pulled away.
This isn't Granny Napoli, right?
Uh, are you asking the?
No, I'm asking you. Is this Granny Napoli?
You've never actually seen her. You could
Ah.
probably guess. The ferryman would confirm.
I just whisper behind behind my hand. Is that her? Is that her?
The
Is
ferryman
that?
kind of just nods nervously.
Mm, okay. Is she looking at us?
No, she's basically already going back to her house, which, by the way, is right there. You guys are parked up around. Where is it? Right here. There's your little raft. It's some bigger than that, but that's the best we could do. Am I sharing the screen actually? Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Yeah, we can see it.
Yes.
right.
Yeah.
Ladies and gents, don't wish to cause alarm bells or anything, but that was the retired admiral just there. Shall we make contact?
Hmm,
Well, we might as well follow.
we might as well learn a
Mm.
bit about the island and the
I think I
grandma.
I just can't emphasize enough uh the sheer volume of the number of stories that come from people who she's trustworthy, don't get me wrong, like she's known, but like you don't want to be seen following
Oh
her
yeah, it is.
in
It's really
a
cool.
group. You don't want to be seen slighting her, if you get what I mean. People like that tend to end up not people anymore. I'd say we uh guys, I don't want to be pelted with hot coals.
As you guys are saying that, you guys see what looks like a man. He's kind of in his a bit in his later years, carrying a shovel, and he kind of walks over and is like, "Don't worry. If you guys find yourself pelted with hot coals, I'll make sure to give you the best burial that a man such as myself can muster." He says, and he looks over and he goes, and he kind of
Is,
waves at you guys
is,
from the shore.
is he the Undertaker?
Mm, not the Undertaker, but he
Is he
does
an
look like a
Undertaker?
Undertaker. Yeah.
Is like the WWE
Okay.
Undertaker.
No, he's the second boss. You gotta
Okay.
work way up for him.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like,
Oh, no.
I think I know that man. I think he's the one that buried my grandfather.
He says, "Nope, that was Gerald.
And you are?
I'm Piz. Don't
Oh
say
yeah,
that."
you're Ferald. Oh yes, I remember now.
Aw.
He's making a joke.
Oh.
Like,
And he
oh,
goes,
you're not Gerald. You're his twin brother, Ferald, of course.
"Oh no, Farrell's dead. I buried him."
Oh, then you must be Merald.
Oh, he looks over. I get the joke now. What he says as he sort of trudges away.
Hmm. Yeah, no, the Undertakers around these parts, yeah, they're pretty good for a joke. Like you want to be in their good terms, otherwise you're gonna end up with rats pissing on your dad's tombstone.
I'll take your word for it.
He seems like a nice chap.
Uh, I mean, you have to have a pretty dark sense of humor when you have their job. Let's not beat around the bush about it. They're pretty morbid people, but they have to make do.
I think our contact is getting away. So shall we be off then?
We should be off slowly. We do not want to be misconstrued as, like I said, following her.
Or should
And okay, guys, are you ready for this expert's impromptu storytelling of how we're going to explain Arton not being here? You ready for this?
Yes.
Okay.
Suddenly, you look around and you see Arton sort of on his hands and knees, and he says, "You guys go on without me. I'm feeling a bit and you just see him throwing up across over the edge of the raft. And his face is just pale. He's just not doing well on the sea. The ferryman says, I'll look after him. I'll look after him. Don't worry. It's not like I can go anywhere. I have to wait for old Bolo Jr. to come back.
Right. Well,
You see him kind of
why
rubbing
not?
his back and kind of gives him some water. It's kind of being very
You know,
nice.
I'm gonna go up to Artem and just go like, oh yeah, happens to the best of us. Here, have this. I'm gonna hand him a coupon for a cafe that's nearby. Here, I was saving this, but you look like you need it more.
The ferryman looks up and says, "You don't expect me to. I mean, I'm only so nice. I'm not gonna ferry him over for free. That's a couple of islands away."
I should be able to make a little remedy for your son if I get supplies.
Oh no,
He's-
it's
he
a
tries
it's a
to reply,
chain.
but he really can. He can.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no, this family has multiple branches. I'm pretty sure they have another one just around here. Or am I mixing up my islands again?
The ferryman sighs and he says, "Fine, I'll bring him over when Bolo gets back." He says. There you go. See, expert impromptu, deep lore. We've just expanded his character. He's now seasick. He now has bad seasickness.
Yeah.
That can be part of his character development,
Okay.
overcoming seasickness.
And do cafes actually exist now, or was that just me
Roll for
bullshitting?
history.
Will do.
Please.
Any particular
16.
cafe branch?
Oh, we're gonna call it
Why did I give him this power? Why I should have looked at the roll first.
I mean, Thomas the Train.
And there's also cheerleaders in this world as well. So.
Oh yeah. We're
Wait, are you
gonna
guys
call it
taking
the.
note of all of the freaking? Oh.
Okay, it's a
Yes.
chain called the Roosters Brewsters.
Well,
It's run. Do bird people exist in this world?
yes.
It's run by a family of bird people, and they now
That's-
and they've since franchised.
That's
Adorable.
that. Oh, okay. You hand him a Roosters Brewsters coupon for free coffee or tea and one pastry of choice.
I'm gonna whisper at him. You know, get their caramel scones. They might look like rocks, but they're to die for.
The ferryman also says, and make sure you spell your name for them because they will spell it wrong when they write it on your cup.
Yes, if you don't spell it right, they're going to be, asking for Arturia or something, and
Sure.
like around here, if someone else's name is called for something, and they're not, and they see a chance, they're going to take it. Like there's no mincing or formalities around here. Like,
It's lawless around these parts.
honestly, you think a man could just get a cup of coffee, no bones about it, but this is the world we live in. Sad.
That word.
Anyway, our contact, I believe.
You guys have now. Wait. All of you guys roll perception.
No.
16. Oh wait, no. 11. Oh, 21. That's so what?
I can't see shit.
It's a solid one. H, you wanna hit it?
Sure.
So we've got one pass, one critical fail, we've got 3 fails. All right. So you guys just start looking around. You guys seem totally lost. You're like, where the heck did she go? Vishara just about gets a glimpse of what looks like her jacket as she's looking around, and suddenly, boom! Just all of you, while we're kind of looking up and standing on tiptoes, just crash into one another. And unfortunately, you've now lost sight of where she's gone. God,
No.
I mean, I know where she lives, lads. It's not. It's common knowledge, like.
For you, maybe.
Oh, but yeah, but you're with me, so I'll walk in the direction. I'll say it's her place, and you're just gonna have to trust me that it's the right place.
I wonder what this place will look like during the holidays.
You know what? She actually is a pretty festive woman, all things considered. She does put up a few decorations. She does put out some treats for the local kids. It's usually taken by the local adults, but that's besides the point.
Alright, you guys. The ferryman looks over. It's like, you guys better get going. I do need to leave by the time Bola Jr. gets back.
Hmm.
So I can only take care of your friend here for so long.
Right, get well soon.
Are you guys heading
Lead
out?
the way, Scooper.
I'm a
Time
follow
for a
Scooper.
dramatic walking scene. And as you guys are walking, you see a few things. Um, straight ahead, you see a little encampment. The sound of clashing iron. Not like in a fighting sense. It sounds like someone's forging weapons and such straight ahead. You look around and you do see a few other things of note. You see a small island with a small grave on the left. You see a few artifacts and stuff from different what do you call it? Like tapestries and such. You sort of push. It's not up the tree. Okay, you know what? It's fine. He's going up the tree. As you guys approach the large house that Spooper is leading you to, you see a little market stall in the corner, and you guys sort of approach this large looking townhouse. It seems to be the only like proper house on the island, but it seems to be large enough to fit most of its residents. Um, as you walk towards it, you see these large doors just slam shut. Look at that epic little walking transition. Oh wait, I can do this
Nice.
now.
Right. Would Scooper know to be wary of anything, any kind of traps or subterfuge when approaching
In this case,
Nephilia's house?
not beyond his natural, because you've never actually been on this particular island. It's all just been kind of mystery. And as far as last time you heard, she was an admiral, but she was just retired, kind of thing. It's just kind of just
Hmm.
living this life.
Hmm.
That's
Right.
last time you've heard.
Right. I say we just walk right up, but keep your wits about you.
Okay.
Lead the way.
Right. Okay. Now just gonna give you a lesson how to walk in these parts. Okay. You need to shoulders up. Head forward. A scowl is a must. You don't want people thinking that you can be messed with. If a pickpocket sees you with a dopey grin, you're gonna get your pockets turned out. Right. Okay.
Goblin.
Walk.
Um, at this point, a little kid runs up to you. A spooper. It says, he runs straight into you and like bumps into you, falls
I'm
over.
gonna say. Okay. I'm gonna say. Right. Okay. I know this trick. I've done this trick. Uh. Right. You're just gonna open your hands and put whatever you just tried to nick off me, down, and I won't call the constable.
Roll intimidation with advantage.
16.
He he lifts up his hand, he has a dagger in his hand that he stole from you, and he hands it back sadly.
Thank you.
And
Right.
stands
Right.
up
You
and walks.
may instead. You know what? You're honest about it. That's commendable. Here, have this. I'm gonna hand him a sweet. No, I'm gonna hand him another coupon.
Okay, I'm saying it right here. We're gonna make more special. You only have 5 of those left, Diet.
Okay.
Um, he looks at the sweet and smiles. He looks at the coupon and he kind of looks confused. And he's kind of trying to read it as he
Now,
kind of just walks away around the house.
just ask for a decaf and a scone.
He nods, kind of wearily. Turns the corner.
You do not want to get the kids here up on caffeine. Let me tell you, they're bad enough as it is.
At this point, oh, let's see, what was it? Oh yes. So at this point, you guys make your way up to the door, and you sort of see that it's made of this large kind of cast iron. It seems to be. It almost seems like in an explosion, the walls around it would probably fall before the doors.
Type of doors.
They're just big cast iron double doors.
Well, would Scooper know the protocol? If there is any?
Not really. Probably just like knock and be, or
Okay.
it's their doors. It's a door.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah. Right. There's a super secret thing you have to do if you want people to get actually to open a door in these parts. Okay? Watch closely. Scooper is gonna walk up to the door. Is there a knocker on it?
Knockers. No.
No, okay, he's gonna go. Watch. He's gonna raise his fist and he's gonna rap on the door 3 times. Watch.
There's no response.
When in doubt, try again. He knocks again.
There's still no response.
Okay. He's gonna walk a bit to the left, up to the window.
Right?
Will someone open that fucking door?
You sort of look in and you see sort of a man kind of
Hey, Noko. What's up?
scrubbing it. Oh, what the heck? Where did he go? What the heck? He just disappeared. What the heck?
No.
You guys
Thank you,
disappear.
pastry.
Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, I've got to respawn that man. God's sakes.
Yggy.
Where's this one? See a man inside sort of wiping down the desk, and you see one girl. She's sort of looking, peeking from behind the bookshelf, and then she sees you looking at her, and she sort of ducks behind and goes, "Spag, I think they saw me. What do I do?" And he says, just ignore them. They'll go away eventually.
No, we won't.
Quick question.
Hmm?
Can I just try the door?
You want to try and just open the door?
Yes.
You tried to pull it open, and it doesn't seem to budge.
If
Does
we
it
just
push?
slow,
Hey,
just
streamer,
And
cast hydrate.
as you push it open, it slowly swings. So, oh wait, crap! I put the door in backwards. Pretend
Hello,
it was
Skip.
the other.
How's it
As
going?
you
You just
push, it
woke up.
slowly
Oh,
creaks open.
are you
followed
feeling
by,
any better?
Hmm?
Thank you for the hydrate.
just go like, "Are you mad, woman?"
You say to Bashara?
Yeah. You mad? You don't just open. You just open a bitch's door. You don't just open a bitch's door.
Oof.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay. You know what's happening.
She walks over and she said,
We take you one time.
hi, welcome to the store. Welcome to the little townhouse. Welcome to the inn. What are we, Spag? What are we? We're an inn. We're an inn. The man says from behind. It's like, yes, we are an inn. Welcome to, what's the inn called? And he goes, just make something up. They're being very obvious, and she's like, welcome to the Insiders Inn. I'm Lynn, the
You're
tavern keep of this inn.
you're Lynn, the inn worker of the Insiders Inn. Is that right, Lynn?
Y- yes.
Okay.
Fray,
Oh, that sounds
can
wonderful.
I roll insight?
Yeah, Fray is sick.
Oh yeah, you just walk. What did you say? What did you say, Bashar?
Can I roll insight?
Yes.
This is all
Yes.
very
You can
suspicious.
roll insight with advantage. Oh,
I'll take either of those.
she's lying. She's very much lying. But her name does seem to be Lynn. She is wearing a name tag that says Lynn.
Can I have a cup of tea? Since it's a nice inn here.
Lynn says, Spag, do we do tea? And he goes, yes. And you see him sort of sifting. You see this big man in the background sifting through a bunch of shelves and stuff. He sort of pulls out a pot, pulls out like a
Oh, I hope you both get better soon.
what looks like a tea bag.
I'm just going
drops
to
in.
I'm just going to sit at the nearest table and just be like,
You start
I'll
looking
take
inside,
2
and you
spoons of
see there
sugars.
there actually are no tables inside.
Oh,
I'm gonna actually lean over and say to Astrid, you know what? The fact that there's actually a tea bag is a miracle. I was half expecting him to take out like a big metal tea or something, letter T. Like, it was as much a possibility.
He says, "I heard that," and someone stole it.
I can see
I
you're only
said it.
renovating the place, so don't worry about it. We'll be happily able to sit on some crates or something over here.
She says, "Oh yes, the thing about the She climbs on top of a pipe. She says, yeah, that's the thing about the Insiders Inn. It's we only actually have one table, and it's currently being used. We have a few side tables you can use, but this one over here is being used, unfortunately.
You mean the big circle one?
Now,
Yeah,
What about the one behind us?
the one behind. That's not a table. That's oh crap. Spag, what is that thing behind you?" And he's just like, "It's not a map."
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
so, Vashara is going to touch the woman's mind and say, mentally to her, okay, I know you're lying. What's the real story?
She goes, roll. What even would persuasion? Just gonna reflect this
Cross your fingers.
mental pew.
Okay, that was decent.
16. She sort of looks and she says, She looks around. She says, and she looks back at you and she says, mentally, "It is a map." She says, looking down.
Okay, how about, what are you guys doing here? This is not an inn, or a tea house, or any of the other things you've said. So,
She turns around, Spag. And he goes, "Yes, Lynn." And he says, I don't know how they figured it out, but I think they figured us out." And he says, "Did you make sure to tell them that we were called the Insiders Inn, like we practiced?" I said, "Yeah, I did."
There was no
And
tea.
Sorry?
So there's no tea.
He runs over to the table, which seemed to have a bunch of dice and like a little hand-drawn kind of little props and stuff and little miniature figurines on them. And he picks up the tea and runs over. And he, as he's running towards you, he trips, and the teapot's about to go flying in the air, when suddenly it stops. And when you look closely, a cane sort of seems to be sticking out of the air from these stairs, and you see Granny Napoli with her cane sort of stretched out and her back straight, and she's kind of caught the teapot in the air and kind of balancing it on at the edge of her cane, and she lowers it back down to Spag, who's getting up, and she goes, "Oh, thank you, thanks, thanks, boss," he says, under his breath. And she looks over and says, and she sort of sighs, and you see Lynn sort of looking up at her, kind of with her eyes kind of shining, and she goes, "You guys did your best. Come."
We did.
She sighs and she says, "You wanted to see me," as she says as she looks at you guys.
Yes, yes. And the Scooper's gonna go. Yes, madam. He's gonna like gesture for everyone to, he's gonna kind of, do like a curtsy, like a bow, and just like gesture for everyone else to get down, 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 madam.
Everyone ignore you.
I said, everybody, down, mom. You not hear the story about the coal pelt thing. Can I persuade them?
Sure, roll
Please?
persuasion.
You could try.
Roll. You can
These guys-
definitely try.
I got a 10.
That's a 10. He's not very persuasive. He's not incredibly persuasive.
Okay, you can choose to be persuaded.
You guys can definitely choose to be persuaded, but he's not very persuasive.
I mean, Nishara will nod her head, agreeing. Give her a bit of a smile.
The Napoli kind of just nods and she says, "Glad to see some of you know some respect." No, wait, no, wrong accent. "Glad to see some of you know some respect." She says, "Come."
I just don't. I just don't. I like it when my fur isn't, burned off by hot coals.
She says, "Oh, don't worry. Coal is. Don't worry. I wouldn't do that. We're actually short of coal right now. Burning firewood."
Wood
She says
Ah.
with a smile.
Yeah,
Splinters, lovely.
I remember that very well. I nearly got burnt at a stake, so.
She says. She looks. She looks at you and she says, "Come, Bolo Juniors. Fill me in on what he knows, but he doesn't know very much about you. He just knows what you're looking. What the heck? Just knows what you guys are looking for." And as soon as she says that, wait, let me teleport you guys up a floor. She says, "Come, I will tell you what you need to know." And as you guys are walking past, you see Bolo Jr. sort of walking down the stairs with this huge list that's like he's barely keeping it off the floor. And you see Napoli just kind of, she sort of stands, brings you guys to the edge of a large map. And she says, "You're not with them, are you?"
No.
Who's them?
Them who?
He sort of looks out the window and points at one of the large. There are these large, you know, the giant leaning tower. And she points specifically at a large column that seems to join seems to join this bottom seat to the first floor. And she points and she says, "Them, the says how should we call it?" She sort of looks around. They call themselves the why am I explaining this? The Ordine. They are the ones in charge. I guess those who used to live here would simply know them as the how do you even describe them? The ones under the hero, under the one who rules the city. They'll be known as the Royal Guard. You're not with them, are you? I know you wouldn't tell me, but you guys look like you couldn't lie for a sheet.
I mean,
Never been
dude.
there.
Yeah, no, definitely not. No, definitely not. Oh, Jesus,
Roll.
if my grandfather knew, Jesus, he'd be turning in his grave. He'd come
Who
back.
is
He'd
your?
come back. He'd rise out of the grave to belt me.
Oh, who's your grandfather?
His name
Young.
is Skips.
Hmm. Wait.
His name was Skips Postsmith. Yes, this is
Oh,
something I actually record. His father's name is Hibernia, but his grandfather's name is Skips.
oh, sorry. I thought you said Skibbles.
Oh no, Skips, as in the prawn cocktail crisp.
Yeah. God freaking damn it! I hate that even more.
I mean,
Um,
it's not. Well, it's not named for that. It just happens to be the name.
she says.
Because
She says. You're Bambino. She says. You're. He was very. She looks left and right. Uh, nosy man. Is how should I say?
thank you, he says, putting a hand on his chest, glimmering with pride.
She nods and she says, I know him. I knew him briefly. But I
Oh,
He kept
nice.
he kept his distance after the hot coals incident.
that was not my fault. It was my fault. But he deserved it. Anyway, she says. She looks around and she says, "Well, if you are not, well, if you are his grandchild, that does give you a little bit of credit. But uh, that doesn't explain why you come to Thu in the middle of our little war," she says, looking around.
So,
Well,
um,
uh,
I'll make a really short story. Um, there was a incident, where at least two of us, as you could say, are from, or at least started this journey at, and we came to get help, and done some things in the way.
She
When
said.
she says that last part, she looks at the other two.
She nods and she says, I see. The help you speak of, would it perhaps entail the excuse me. Oh gosh.
I think this would go easier with a bit of a demonstration. Alice,
Alice kind of pokes her head out from the stairs and she's got a cup of tea in her hand and she's kind of sipping it and she goes, "Yes."
can you show Ms. Napoli here your. He just holds up his hand like gestures like an orb in it. Can you just show her that your glowy hand thingy.
She nods, and she I'm gonna roll for her. Let's see, here's my off-screen roller. Where's my? Actually, no, I'm just gonna use this one. she she lifts up her hand and shows Granny Napoli the cup of tea. She says,
Sure, that
"Here."
wasn't what it was earlier.
Hmm?
I swear she did something interesting earlier.
She goes, "Ah, yes." Um, she sort of lifts up her hands, and then she like covers half of her thumb, and she sort of makes it look like it's coming off. And she smiles at you, looking for like, what do you call it, praise.
Um. Okay, guys, you all saw it. Remember on the raft on the ferry? She did her weird magic voodoo thing, and then all of a sudden things were going fast. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. I
Yes.
know I know
Of
you all saw
course.
that. I oh,
Um,
see.
Nepali kind of, she looks around and she says, "Even so, that
Oh no,
still
that
doesn't
was just
explain."
that was an introduction.
Ah,
Yeah, no, she does that because she does it now and then because no, you guys would know better. What was the deal with Lyria? She was like the goddess of joy, yes?
Joy,
Yes, joy
dear.
and well-being.
That's it.
she says, "Yes, I know of her, but why do
Oh
you
yeah, we
need
met her.
the Royal Navy? What?"
Well, not entirely related. But, so, uh, let's hop back a sec. So, um, there is, I guess you could call it a condition that is spreading where we're from. And when she says that, she points to. My brain stopped. Hang on. An Astrid. And she says, we are from a place where a condition has started. And people are turning into sort of undead. Maybe not quite. Very strange. We don't really understand. But um, things are getting bad. Very bad. We were sent to
She
get help.
she rubs her chin a bit, and she says, "That is worrying. That's a problem. As I
Yes.
explained to you, currently, we're not able to provide, at least." She sort of looks, and this almost seems uncharacteristic for an old lady, despite her being an admiral. She says, "Unfortunately, we are only able to do so much. As I mentioned before, we are currently fighting what is currently a losing battle against uh, sorry, against the Ordine. We are the she says, she sort of looks left and right.
You're the
Again, like almost.
resistance.
Hmm?
You're the resistance. Is that what you're trying to say?
She sort of nods her head left and right. She says, "In a sense, yes, but in a sense." She looks around again. She seems very suspicious. She's like, You mentioned the virus. You mentioned an illness of sorts, a condition that's plaguing the people. At around the same
Yes.
time, the Ordine proclaim themselves as such. A virus has been sweeping through here as well as many other places around Sages, from what I've heard. Each one seems to be different in nature. The one plaguing us here is a what people are calling techno-organic virus. We call it the Bara de Ferro, the iron coffin. It, once infected, after 7 days, man, woman, child, turned into mechanical creatures under the control of the Ordine.
Very weird. Very
She
weird.
nods. They are most definitely connected. If they did both start at similar times, as well as the ones around the area, around the world. She says,
So, a little more explanation, because things have happened on our way here. I guess I should start with the fact that I am a priestess of Saloon. And when we left the town, I was given a vision by my goddess. And it's been reinforced a couple times now. But it implied that a new group of heroes has to come forth to solve some sort of issue. It's not clear what.
and
It's very
you are
fuzzy.
claiming to be, those heroes.
I'm not saying that. Just that we were told about them. I mean, I don't see myself as a hero. I do what I can. That's all I do.
He says, she looks down and she says, I have heard of this legend from before. I'm not saying I believe you. I'm not saying that I am totally on board with you all being these so-called heroes, but
So,
if you can,
there's a part two to this.
there
There's
is.
a part two to this. We may have found an old temple of Lyra on our way here. We learned some very strange things. Strange things. And we may have freed the goddess Lyra from a form of imprisonment. So, there are very strange things in the work.
She looks over and she says, "Oh no, that's..." And then it is as I feared. It's as many of us feared. The gods never left us. They were here the whole time. It's as they said. She looks down and she says, "It's..." She sort of sighs and she says, "Nevertheless, there is still much to do, and if the gods will not or cannot help us, there's some things that we'll just have to take into our own hands." Looks and she says, you claim to be these heroes. As I said, I cannot fully trust you, but should you prove your loyalty, I will use my influence and have any form of the..." She looks over and she says,
Hey,
"Call
streamer,
us
cast
the
hydrate.
modificere. We are, yes, what you would call a resistance in a sense, but really we are just simple people trying to keep our families safe." but I do have some of them stationed outside of the quarantine zone, outside the borders of the Torre Pedente.
Thank you
could
for the
send them
hydrate and the costume.
this as a form of temporary aid. They will not. It's only going to be a few ships, but at least it'll help a little bit. But you must first prove that you are trustworthy, and potentially, if you are these heroes, then I should assume it would be your duty to even to travel, and perhaps even, if I could request, open the locks, release allow our troops to come in, allow us to take back what is ours, with all the locks in place. The locks are stopping ships from entering and scaling the tower. The only way to open them is by well, there's many different ways. There is defeating guardians. There is finding keys. Each one is set up specifically so that, well, it was set up specifically by each floor master. I don't know how many there are yet. Some of them might even be completely abandoned. She says, but if you can prove to me that I can trust you, and if you can promise me that you will help us here, as we will help you, then you have my word. In what of Kerry will do what we can to save your town, and aid you. Perhaps even acknowledge you as heroes.
I mean, me personally, I will help anyone I can.
Well, she looks around and she says, you will also all be, she looks and sees that not everyone is convinced, and she said, you will all also be rewarded handsomely, she says.
Scooper's already in by the pure virtue of the fact that it's a chance to discover true history.
Oh, will do my best.
We'll do it.
She says,
For
I
the
must
pride
warn you though.
of your people, and for your splendor, we'll honor it.
She nods and she says, you must be careful though. The Theo is the military capital for a reason. Each of the floor guardians Torre Pedente have access to the royal armory filled to the brim with magical weapons, magical swords, mystic staffs, magical they even came across a pair of magical bagpipes recently. Everything
Astrid's
under the
gonna
sun.
really pay attention now.
Everything under the sun is at their disposal. My advice, don't charge in head first.
No, of course not.
I don't think the 4 of us, or 5 of us, are going to be able to do anything head on.
She smiles.
That sounds like suicide.
She says, good, you are smarter than the last bunch of people that came to me. Okay. Now that it seems you are on board, time to prove your loyalty. On this island, I brought on board only my most trustworthy compatriots. But I have recently figured out that one of them is, how should I say?
A mole.
Traditore, mole, yes, a traitor, as you say. I need your help to find them. In return, I will point you in the right direction. I will give you more information. I'll even provide you with a vessel. These my old. It wouldn't be a battleship by any means, but my own personal vessel. I will give to you to aid you. Um, so long as you can find who the traitor is.
Well, this. Well, fortunately, this is a bit of me wheelhouse. So, do you to start? Do you have any clues? Any rosters? You know, background files of those under suspicion? Anything of that sort we can use to try and glean, motives or, opportunities. What kind of information has been leaked? Anything like that?
As currently there are four main suspects. Are One of them is a recent doctor who he actually kind of showed up uninvited on their shores. Dr. Pease, sort of a doctor by trade. Kind of all he does is walk around, kind of digging graves and burying people in them that honestly I've never seen before in my life. I almost think he gets them shipped in. He's been rather suspicious, but it would be even more suspicious for us to kick him off the island without a reason.
What's his
He
name?
Piz,
His,
P-I-Z, Piz. There's also recently one of my more uh, trustworthy individuals, the blacksmith, the local blacksmith named Bolo. He
Will this
is the
happen to be the
father.
father of Bolo Jr.? Yes.
Yes, yes, he is. He's recently been sneaking off the island. Um, we don't know why, and when questioned, he didn't really give up much. Apart from that, I see no reason why he would actually betray betray us. Then there's the two who work downstairs, the tavern keep Lin and Spag. And they are both idiots, yes, but they always say you can never trust don't trust the butterflies, as they say. They might not be the brightest, but they are crafty. And as far as a motive, there's a lot of people who would pay quite handsomely for the identity of the leader of the Modificare. And the reason, and
Well, they
as
are
for
very sus. They're very sus.
she nods,
They're not
and
very
she
good
says,
liars, though.
a lie can be faked just as much of the truth. She says as she walks towards the window. She says, the only reason why the um the only reason why no information is already no major information has been leaked yet is because under the pretense of quarantining us our island from the Barra de Ferro, I more or less placed a ban on people leaving the island. This was meant to be only for a week. We've even kept Bolo from leaving the island. However, this was put into place 4 days ago. That means in 3 days, the intruder will leave the island, and if they succeed, my life is on the line, she says.
I can see why this is a concern.
She nods. She says,
Well, I assure you, the Post-Smith organization and co. are on the case.
she nods. Says you can find them around the island. Feel free to take your time.
Let me
Well,
move 3 days, so.
do need to see Smith.
The blacksmith?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Are you guys good with going to blacksmith first?
Yeah.
Also,
Uh, just wondering, would Scooper, I should say, have any contacts on this island?
oh, using
I
your
think
thing. You wouldn't have any on this particular island, but once you reach the central area, the actual city part, you know,
Mhm.
there you'd have contacts in there in the actual leading tower, because technically
Yeah,
this isn't the city, it is like kind of like suburb kind of, almost.
yeah.
Um, Also, guys, I'm just gonna say I can probably only last another like 30 minutes because I'm getting really sick.
Yeah, that's
Oh no.
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
Your
kids
health
have to
comes
I mean,
first.
early. Don't worry about Fray.
yeah.
Hmm?
Get out some important.
If you need to go,
Oh
it's
no,
fine.
I'm
Like
I'm
we're
doing
good.
good now. I just kind of want to wrap it up nicely. You know what I mean?
Okay, no problem.
No, it's kind of like, do you know when you feel it coming?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I completely understand. I get that way with my migraines.
yeah. Oh my gosh, migraines don't even get me started at all.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
but yeah. No, but the so you guys make your way towards the blacksmiths. And a man sort of you sort of walk up through this kind of oddly kind of Viking-esque fortification in the corner of the island, and you see a man hammering away at some tools, creating what looks like some fire pokers. And as you guys approach, are you guys just going to approach normally, or are you going to try and sneak in or something?
I mean, I do have business with him.
Oh, okay. So just walk over. So in that case, Vishara, you step straight through the door, and the man walks up, and he says, "Wait a minute, I got these lines." He goes, Benvenuto, welcome, 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 welcome. He's hammering. What, you seem like a finely dressed, knight? He says, to Vishara.
Priestess, actually. But
Priest, oh, you're a heavily armored priestess. I appreciate that.
I do like my armor. However, I have questions. Can you make armor?
Can I make armor? It depends. What kind of armor are you looking for?
I'm thinking about some nice half plate.
Some half plate armor.
Yes.
I will say, I can do it. However, it's quite hard to come by. That amount, the amount of iron you need, I can make it for you, but I would definitely need the materials for it. And if you bring me the materials, I will definitely reduce the price accordingly, because it is quite rare on these parts. Um, had a, but I can give you a quote if you like. I can tell you how much it would cost if I had the armor. Even if you don't give it to me, I can put an order and I can have it for you in a few weeks.
To take a quote.
But yes, in a few weeks' time, if I get the shipment in, be around 700 gold, 600 gold. If you get me the parts, if you get me the actual pieces, I can drop it down to 200 easily. It saves me the trouble.
Interesting.
It's a good deal. They charged me an exorbitant amount for delivery. We only have one ferryman around these parts. He basically monopolized it. So he's kind of upping the price of delivery.
Wait, didn't I hear that was like your son?
Yeah, exactly. He's a yeah, yeah. It is my son, and he is making a lot of money. And he's giving me none of it.
Wow. You
Wow.
really should have spanked him more.
Hmm. What?
No, Scooper just says this as he's investigating a nice curious. Ah, it sounds like you really should have spanked him a bit more. Bit of the spoon.
He kind of sighs and he says, "When children leave the nest, there's only so much you can do." And he says, "So would you like me to put the order in for you?"
Um, let's hold off on that for a bit.
He says, "All right. Is there anything else I can do in the meantime? I definitely have enough to make small weapons and armaments."
Bashara looks at the others.
Uh, Actually, Scooper will establish a psychic connection between. We'll have to roll for how many.
Yep.
So it is just a flat uh D6, and then as long as I get a 3 or above, I can include everyone. It's /R, right?
I think you can click the yoke. Um,
I got it. Oh, I got a 6.
well, there you go.
Okay, so I'm
Everyone on
gonna.
the island is.
No, I'm just gonna include my 3 companions. Okay, lads. Okay, now that we've gotten the armor question out of the way, I think it would be prudent to try and, extract some information, maybe get his opinions on the ban. And also, if someone is truly a spy, they're not going to be in the heart of the Devil's Den, you know, untowardly. They're going to know that we spoke directly to the old lady. So, uh, I reckon from this point forward, we ought to use our secret weapon.
So
Is someone
secret
going to
weapon.
ask what it is? Yeah, no.
What?
It's Artem. It's Artem. Yeah, no one knew. No one knows. No one knows that he's spoken with Nephillia. They barely know that we're associated. The only one who does is the ferryman, really. Perhaps Polo Junior, but he's not on the suspects list. Now,
There's one hitch to that plan. Our time is a bit sick at the moment.
well, yes, that's why we'll establish contact with him later and try to ask him if he can do his own snooping about, because because if the spy sees us coming from a mile away, uh, they're gonna know to keep their gobs shut around us. If you
If you
catch me
want,
drift.
I can do something kind of sneaky.
I mean, I do be loving that.
Like a surprise. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
Depends, I can cast a spell on you, kind of thing. If I get close.
Hex
Or
spells,
I can be a little fly on the wall, if need be.
That could actually be very handy. Now that's superbly. That is honestly beyond helpful.
But be wary about who you're going to be using this on. Because I get pretty exhausted, I'd say, if I were to do it multiple times.
Right, that is understood. Right, let's say what we can get from this fella. Then we can reconvene somewhere private, then discuss our tactics to kind of approach the investigation as a whole. Try
You
to
guys
suss
are
out
still
motivations.
psychically linked, aren't you? So
Yes,
you can communicate
it
that.
lasts for 6 hours.
Okay, yeah, you guys.
Oh my god.
Okay. Okay, so what's what'd you say, Kami?
I'll leave the questions to you guys. I'm good at finding if people are lying to me, but questioning them, I'm not so good at.
Yeah, like peeking over the wall here.
So, Mr. Investigator, what do you have to say to the blacksmith? Because you'll be used in the investigation interrogation.
Of course. Right. The whole personal upfront impromptu interrogation was me father's shtick, but let's see if I can not fall too far from the tree. Right. Wish me luck. If you don't mind me, if you don't want to if you want to inquire about your order first.
I mean, I
Just-
think my business is done for the moment.
Hmm.
I need cash.
Need cash. Okay.
And
In
metal.
that case,
But
Is there any
this,
slots for it?
I will then go up to Mr. Bolo. Was it Bolo? Yes. Holding a Actually no. Is there anything lighter around here? Like, some like a cloak or a any kind of fur-lined garment?
You do see a few like you see some, what do you call it? Some animal furs kind of lying out to dry,
Mm.
but nothing of note. Nothing of specifically a cloak. I mean, Zeke. Oh yeah, we never put in your inventory, but you did start with a cloak. I forgot to
Wait,
mention.
I did. Wait, I did.
Yeah, remember, because you were cloaked when they found you.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
We forgot to put in your inventory. That was my bad. But
No,
yeah,
it's fine. I'll add it now.
there's that.
Sorry?
Hmm.
I thought you said something.
Oh yeah, no, I was just telling Spooper that yeah, there's Zeke's.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that isn't exactly what he's going for. He's gonna walk up to the drying furs. He goes, "Oh, these look mighty nice. Where'd you get these?"
He goes over and he says, "Ah, those that they were from the mainland. I've been trying to make some extra money. Been killing some animals and bringing them back and
Oh, what
drying
kind
up."
of animals? Scooper will say, just gently running his hand through his ears.
I think he's evil.
that is that is very true.
He's gonna
He
look. He's
says,
gonna stare very intently. Please tell me which kind of animals.
as he says, "Oh, do you know, wolves and bears and roll for insight."
Mm-hmm. 19 and a nat 20.
What the heck? All right, he says, well, as you kind of see, he's kind of panicking a bit. He's kind of a bit, what do you call it?
Flustered?
Yes, but he's doing a pretty good job at hiding it.
Hmm.
But he is
Uh,
hiding
uh,
something.
oh, this wasn't the route. Okay. So you said wolves and what was it, bears? Let me just. Oh, that's very interesting. I'm going to go over. Is it wolf fur? Is there wolf fur?
No.
And I don't. I hope I don't need to explain why I need to know what wolf fur is like.
No, it's not wolf fur.
No. No. Which? Okay, you said wolf bears. Which specifically is the wolf fur?
Well, he says, we're actually sold out of wolf fur. I was just giving an example.
But you just said got these from just got these from the mainland that you're trying to make more money. The implication would be that you went there yourself to get these, and you're saying you're sold out of these things that you went to the mainland to get that haven't been, you know, made into armor yet.
He sort of looks up and he says, "You're, are you interested in the fur?" He says, "I can order. I can get some more. I can get some wolf fur for you if you want next
Yeah,
time."
yeah, yeah. No, I have enough wool fur, thanks.
Says, "I was wondering." But yes,
Hmm.
the um, the wolf fur that we had, uh, it was actually bought out by a local resident.
Which
We're not
one?
quite sure. Says it was bought out. It was my entire stock was bought out by.
Hmm.
I gotta get the name. It was actually bought out by the doctor, Doctor Piz.
Oh, the doctor. Dr. Piz.
Um,
I have a question for the DM.
yes,
Would Scooper know the kind of wolves native to the surrounding area?
you you would you would.
Okay. What kind?
They'd be gray wolves.
Great. Oh. So,
Occasionally
also, I
dire
take
wolves.
a T-bone. Hmm. Oh, so, of course. I assume that the red wolf fur would have sold best, yes?
At this point, he says we don't do dead.
No?
All we got in was gray and dire wolf. We have
Yeah.
one singular dire wolf fur, which actually we sold to someone else, but I can't remember who. It wasn't Peace. Peace was only interested in the gray. Hmm. But yes, like I said, uh, all our wolf fur is gone, unfortunately.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh, crow.
He's just gonna, Scooper's gonna be just looking like, he's gonna tap his foot, wringing his hands. He's like, hmm, okay, so how much wolf fur did
Okay, it's weird.
Pix
Like you said,
buy?
it's weird.
He bought
Oh,
I'd say easily. It wasn't a small amount. It was around 8 pelts,
blah.
which was
Hmm.
basically he would have bought more. He
Oh,
took our entire stock,
it's still got that
just
weird
left the
like
direwolf.
yeah.
Hmm.
Ugh, to it. I don't know.
Okay, okay, that's good. That's wonderful to know. That's wonderful to know. Right.
Strong.
Uh,
It's very strong.
I'm gonna say psychically to the rest, I'm leaving. I don't care if he's guilty or not.
Yeah.
I want his head in a spike.
Yeah, it's got that alcohol.
Uh,
Yeah. Ooh.
I'm good to leave too.
All right. So you guys are leaving and regrouping.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So our
Is
adventures.
there anything suspicious about the crow at all?
The
Do I
crow.
notice?
Roll for insight. Or no, roll
Insight.
for perception. Perception.
Okay, okay. 10.
And you sort of get an uneasy feeling about it. It's uneasy and it's almost you look at it and you get a slight sense of deja vu.
It's unusual for a crow to be out in the middle of an island. Should be seagulls, no?
eagles, ducks.
Mediterranean birds.
All right, so now you guys are regrouping out here. And as you guys are all regrouped, you sort of see Alice kind of waddling out with like a tray of tea, and she just goes, "Any luck?" As she kind of walks around holding up the tray with like 4 little cups on them.
I mean, if I had money. At least for my part. I don't know what you guys found, specifically.
You know, I found out that there's A veritable wolfer market on this bleeding island.
I mean,
Oh, and picks,
we're
boss.
just used
All of
for a
them.
lot of things.
Oh, what was that? What was that? What was that?
Scooper is just gonna like turn his head and just look slowly at Pizareth.
Wait,
Yes,
who?
it keeps
Yep.
me very warm.
Oh. And Alice sort of just goes, I'll say this, you're not that close, I just didn't know. You guys are far enough into the thing that kind of far away from people. And Alice kind of goes, wait, let me see if this is how it works. I haven't cast a spell in a while. Alice is gonna look left and right. She says, I see. Maybe this will help. Maybe this will help. She's going to. Let me see. Let me see. Oh no. Okay, yeah.
Hey Yuri, how's it going?
Okay,
Welcome.
never mind. This was not the spell that I wanted, so never mind. Alice just looks and she says, "So,
I love my sorcerer.
any leads?" She says.
Think we need to have a
Well,
word with the doctor.
Right, if Granny is correct, he's collecting body parts and he's also collecting furs. My first instinct is to think he's trying to construct a werebeast, but you know what? That's only my that's only the reader in me talking.
something you can make?
I mean, okay, have you ever read Scary Millie's book called Spankenstein?
Scary
I
Mel.
cannot say
Ah,
that.
yes.
Okay, thank you,
Spankenstein.
Leon.
Spankenstein doesn't exist solely because Brazzers doesn't exist.
Okay,
Well,
Hankenstein.
there has to be some kind of like scary story, mothers would tell their youngins before bed.
All right, fine. Roll history for Frankenstein or Hankenstein. Fine, we'll go
Okay.
with Hankenstein.
Oh, crit failure.
No one, everyone kind of just thinks you're a bit strange. There's just some weird wolf person story that like they've never heard of in their life.
Furry story.
That first, it's just another one of your Sonic OCs.
Hmm.
Yes,
But
dude.
basically, what happens in it
What?
is, crazy
Is
doctor
nudism
goes
practiced
around,
in the...
digs up
Do you want
bodies,
me to
tries
ask
to create
that?
life. Right. It's the necromancer's textbook.
I
Are you
mean,
wanting me to
and
ask that?
usually would consider it bizarre, but in this sense,
For what?
from what
Why would
we've
I
heard,
ask that?
it all connects together. So,
well,
yeah.
Scary
Little
stories of
undead.
flesh golem
Definitely
construction.
something I've seen
Yes.
before.
Exactly.
Oh, guys, I think I'm gonna have to actually wrap it up.
Yeah.
Getting kind of
No
bad.
worries.
No problem.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But yeah, I think that's actually a good place to end it. To be honest, kind of
Yeah,
you've talked
that's
through
fun.
your first lead. You've got one lead, and then like a mystery lead, and yeah, I kind of wanted to because we kind of did like 4 weeks of no, like 5 weeks of just pure dungeon crawling action. I wanted to kind of do a more of a like subterfuge mystery kind of big lore drop kind of thing.
That's okay. As a D&D player, that's just right up my alley.
Yeah, I also really wanted an excuse to use a bunch of Italian words.
I mean, all you gotta do is put us in a dungeon. Start playing that Latin music.
Yeah, where's the
Ironically, last night in Celestia, I had my campaign go to an island. So,
Oh,
yes.
did it also have a very menacing old lady on it?
No.
Oh.
No. They did get into a big grand melee in a coliseum, though.
Oh.
Okay.
At least the one of them did.
Is it Kriv?
Yes.
That actually does sound quite fun.
Sounds like Kriv.
Oh gosh. All right, guys.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, no
Sorry
problem.
I had to cut
Fray.
it short.
No, I hope you feel better.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Get well soon, man.
I will do my best.
Snuggle up in bed.
Yes.
Yeah, will do.
Rem-
Oh, I need it.
Remember, a good diet, a regular sleep schedule, and not too much time on the computer. That'll help you get better.
Yeah, no, I plan to finish another 30 episodes of Bleach.
I know. I
today.
was being
No, I use my phone. Oh gosh, but yeah, yeah. Thanks so much, guys. Like I said, with the new job, I'm on call, so I don't always know when I'm off on the Monday, but I will be able to tell you the day before.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so thank you so much, guys, for coming.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And
thank you, Fray.
next week there will most definitely be more combat. I just genuinely, like, there were points here where there was meant to be some, but it was like I physically am not able to run combat right now.
That's fine.
I hope you get better soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Get better soon.
You guys too. Hope you guys have an awesome week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Take care,
Take
Fray.
care.
Bye.
Well,
That's that.
Take care, guys.
Take care.
Goodbye, Nephillia.
Bye.
Nakami.
later.
Meg teach check TTRPG. Never mind. Oh. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody. That one was shorter. Thanks for tuning in, for hanging out. I will be back with my next stream on a day that I don't remember. Friday. Free Friday. The 2 p.m. PST, 5 p.m. EST, 11 p.m. CET. Don't know what we're doing. It's free Friday, so we'll find out on Friday. As you all have a good night, and I will catch you next time. I didn't say Friday enough. Friday.